Hello, my name is Michael Donofrio. I'm with Baristanet, bringing you another installment of Coffee With. Today, I'm in wonderful West Orange, near one of its multiple snowbanks, sitting here with Natty Bumpercar.
Natty Bumpercar, that's me. How's it going, everyone?
Now, I have to begin the conversation just with Natty Bumpercar.
You should start it off with Natty Car, is what I think you should probably do.
Is that your real name?
Absolutely.
Really?
How can I have any other name other than Bumpercar? It was very rough growing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a name that's going to get picked on a lot, obviously. But what I think that did is I took all the beatings I took as a child, and I turned it into jokes.
All right.
Maybe.
Because you're a comedian.
Yes.
You're an artist.
Yes.
You're a cartoonist, and also an animator.
Yes and yes. I had to think about the last two.
So now I love all those things myself. How did you manage to combine all of them into one seemingly fluid employment?
A long time ago, I made paintings. I started off with paintings. That's a lie.
Okay.
A long time ago, I started making jokes. I was the weird kid in school, and I made jokes. And to the point where, and I wasn't such a great student, and teachers would let me play during class. Like, they would let me talk to kids, or the kids, the people, my peers, or whatever. And so I would write stories or tell jokes or whatever. And it was fun. And so, but then I went to college, and I have a painting degree, and so I started painting all these little things, and I have a world called Coffee Can Alley. And everybody lives in Coffee Can Alley. And the main character is Natty Bumpercar.
Now, just for the audience who might not be familiar, you have a website.
I do. It's nattybumpercar.com.
And one of the things on it, your cartoons are on it.
Yes.
And they seem to be a blend of Aqua Teen Hunger Force and also a Family Guy.
All right.
Kind of, who were your influences growing up and kind of today?
All right. Well, I've never actually seen Family Guy.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen commercials. And it kind of scares me, and I don't know why. It doesn't actually like, I'm scared, but I'm just like, oh, that show. And but Aqua Teen I like a bunch because my stuff tends to be really tangential and just really kind of absurdist, and anything can happen at any time type of thing, which fits. That's how my brain works. So that's the stuff I make. And but growing up, I mean, just basic cartoons like Smurfs, basic silly cartoons, but then comic books, all the basic comic books. Very basic. What kind of ice cream? Vanilla. Yeah.
It's a delicious flavor. I mean,
It
you
is.
can't really go too wrong with
Here's
vanilla.
the thing with vanilla. You get vanilla, you can do anything to it.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
true.
put strawberries on it. Boom. You can put chocolate on it. You can put sprinkles on it. But a lot of flavors you get, you can't put stuff on because it gets too weird. But vanilla, it's your base.
Yeah.
You're building your house on vanilla. That's what I say.
Speaking of your comics and kind of all the things you do, comedy-wise, is it very autobiographical? Is that where you find things to talk about and draw about?
Oh, absolutely.
Or where do you find your material?
I find my material everywhere. Like, if I leave the house, generally something happens. I'm not really allowed to talk to people anymore because when I go out and I talk to people, it's always awkward or strained.
Now, is that a self-imposed restriction, or have your loved ones systematically attempted to deny you from other people?
It's been systematic, just blocking off. Because they get embarrassed. They get sick of waiting. Because a lot of times if I go through a store or something, I'll start chatting it up with people.
Oh, you're a very friendly guy. You seem like a very friendly guy.
I like to talk to people because when you talk to people, then you learn stuff. And I like to be really, I like to keep my eyes open because the way my stuff works is if the universe or whatever gives me something, whatever it may be, a lot of people kind of go through the world and they don't pay attention. Or they don't keep their eyes open on the stuff in front of them, next to them, over here, what's happening. And I like to try and see everything because the more you see, the more you experience. And then the more you can make fun of, which is terrible because I take such a nice, beautiful thing and then I sully it, is what happens.
Do you, as a comedian, do you get a lot of your material from home? Or like you were saying before, you go to supermarkets and things, you get it in the external world as well?
Not so much. A little bit. I was actually at a show in Manhattan a few weeks ago, and a guy after the show who I had met, but I forgot because my brain doesn't always work. He said, "Hey, Bumpercar, how you been?" And to me, in my brain, it was some random person coming up to me and saying my name and asking me how I've been, and which I didn't really know how to answer, but I just answered it straight. I was like, you know, wife, baby, because I didn't know who it was. And he said, and then we figured out how I had met him because he realized I didn't know who he was. And he said to me, you know, you should get away from the character stuff. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he's like, the whole Natty Bumpercar thing. Stop doing that. It doesn't make any sense. And I was like, you mean my whole act? And he said, yeah, you should talk about your wife and kid, because you know, that's something different. And in my head, I was like, but everybody talks about that stuff. I have a pig on stage. I have a friend named Pig who comes on stage. Every time I go on stage, I bring. Sometimes I play to the camera, sometimes I play to you.
That's all right.
I bring Pig on stage. I have a horse named Cinnamon. I have a moose named Yetkin. I have an elephant named Elephant of the Blue Ears.
Do you have those with you, or are these people, or
no?
Stuffed
These are
animals?
Well, I have stuffed animals, but then I also have they're puppets.
Puppets, okay.
Yeah, and so, but I don't do puppetry. I just when I take the mic out of the stand, then I put them on the mic stand, and so then they just stare at the crowd, and then I can talk to the puppets. And what it tries to do, I consider it like a gateway into Coffee Can Alley, as far as, all right, here's somebody up here who calls himself Natty Bumpercar. And then the crowd can think, I don't know what's up with that. And then they can say, oh, he just put a pig on stage. Why is there a pig on stage? And it just kind of like allows them to see like, oh, something different is happening up there. And sometimes they like to come along for the ride. Sometimes they throw things at me. No, that hasn't happened yet.
No. So what are you... Well, Mr. Bumpercar?
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining me today.
This was wonderful.
Yes, it was.
I hope.
My name is Michael Donofrio with Baristanet, and this has been another presentation of Coffee With. I'd like to thank you out there for joining us, and again, Mr. Bumpercar for joining me.
Yes.
And this is Michael Donofrio signing off.